Hey everybody, it's Mike Frieder with On-Call Compliance Solutions, and I'm back with another compliance tip of the week. Today we're talking about DFARS, NIST, SP.800-171, and CMMC. How to solve for control AC.L1-3.1.2 in CMMC before it wrecks your assessment. So hey, if you're a defense contractor who's feeling overwhelmed, tired, and alone, trying to understand all of this DFARS, NIST, SP.800-171, and CMMC compliance stuff, I've got great news for you. You found your home here at On-Call Compliance Solutions, where we can help you transform into your company's on-call compliance hero. Put on your cape, let's go to town. So today we're talking and tackling a sneaky little control that's more important than your morning coffee. And let's be honest, we all know how important that is. We're talking about CMMC control AC.L1-3.1.2. Limit system access to the types of transactions and functions that authorized users are permitted to execute. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, just don't let people do stuff they shouldn't. I mean, it seems intuitive. Of course it's intuitive. But trust me, this is where companies trip up all the time. So let's break it down and make sure you don't get caught off guard during your assessment. Step 1, let's understand the assessment objectives. CMMC assessors will be looking for 3 things. Can you prove that users only have access to what they need? And is there a clearly documented method for assigning roles and permissions? And are you actively verifying and enforcing these permissions? Are you doing what you said you would do? If you don't have solid answers to all 3, you could be looking at a big fat not met stamp on your assessment. And believe me, it's really demoralizing when it's on the second control. Step number 2, technical fixes. Let's lock it down. Now, unless you want your company's network looking like a free-for-all buffet where everyone helps themselves to whatever data they want, you need to implement something like role-based access control. Again, Active Directory is really genius at doing this with their security groups and organizational units. And at the end of the day, everybody winds up getting a role, and then based on what their role is, they can then have access to information, i.e. access control. That together is called role-based access control, or RBAC. It's a key component to access control and something you're going to see over and over again in these controls. So RBAC ensures that users can only perform the tasks their job requires. Here's what you need. User roles need to be defined. Employees should have access based on their job function. And by the way, that's current job function, not what they did 10 years ago before they got promoted. This needs to be kept up to date and live. Not just because they might need it someday, by the way. Again, if assessors begin to sniff out that you've just given somebody unfettered access to your system and it's not warranted, they're going to wind up failing you. Permission groups. Use Active Directory, Entra ID, or another identity management system to assign permissions based on roles. There's tons of them out there. There's Jamf. There's all kinds of great things. Even individual programs have identity management systems. For instance, an example might be QuickBooks. They have their own user access system into the company file. Again, permission groups are critical. Regular audits. Quarterly reviews of access logs and permissions to make sure no one's sneaking into places they shouldn't be. Yes, you're going to need to show evidence of this to cruise through this control successfully. We have to audit our users. We have to prove that we're auditing our users, and that should be in a written policy. Step 3, documentation. If it's not written down, it didn't happen. Believe me, if it's not written down, you're definitely not passing an assessment. So, assessors love documentation, and they'll be looking for proof that you're actually doing what you say you're doing. Here's what you'll need. An access control policy, a written policy outlining how your organization limits user access. Next, user role definitions, a document that describes what access different job roles should have. Again, it doesn't have to be every employee, but certainly it needs to be every job role. Access review logs, evidence that you're checking and updating permissions on a regular basis. Next, change management records, a process for approving and tracking changes to user permissions. If you don't have this in place, all I can tell you is start writing, or better yet, call us, and we'll make sure you don't miss a thing. Because one of the amazing things On-Call always delivers whenever we're working with a client is a fully done for you set of documentation and standard operating procedures. Again, we customize it to each client and we make it a whole lot easier than trying to figure all this documentation stuff out yourself. I mean, the average client of ours probably is walking out with around 55 different standard operating procedures and policies. So get writing or just get to calling us. It's much easier that way. 4, test yourself before they test you. Believe me, you want to test yourself. Before an assessor comes in, run a self-assessment. Try this simple test. Pick a random employee. Can they access something they shouldn't? Check if there's documentation showing why they have the access they do. Can you prove that permissions were last reviewed and updated? Can you? If you stumble on any of these, it's time to fix it now before your CMMC assessment does it for you. Again, another place that we can help is if you're wondering whether or not you're ready, we have a product called the mock assessment. It's a low to no pressure CMMC assessment process exercise where we take you through the CMMC cap, or the CMMC certification, the CMMC assessment protocol, and we take you through it. But the difference is there's no pressure. It's not a real certification, okay? And we can help you, right? So this is the wonderful, amazing thing about On-Call is we have lead assessors on staff. We have all the things that a C3PAO has. We're even a C3PAO candidate. We're just waiting on DIBCAC approval at this moment, but we won't do the pressure thing, right? It's not real. And let me tell you, it's a fraction of the cost. So we can walk you through the controls. And then when we walk you through the controls, we can also help you where you may be deficient. It's amazing. And it's a whole lot cheaper than failing a CMMC certification. Believe me. So here's some final thoughts. CMMC control AC.L1-3.1.2 isn't rocket science, but it will trip you up if you don't have the right technical controls and documentation in place. Remember, compliance isn't just about security, it's about proving security, and that takes documentation. And if all of this is making your head spin faster than a government acronym generator, we've got your back. Our virtual compliance officer service can help you and your systems and your documentation in perfect shape for an assessment. So if you'd like to learn about any of those services, definitely reach out to us. I'll tell you exactly how to do that in just a second. Because at On-Call, we take defense contractors just like you who have had this DFARS, NIST, CMMC, ITAR, and EAR information security compliance stuff dropped in their laps like a seagull on a sunny day. And we teach you how to level up and be a proper On-Call compliance hero for your company, eliminating gaps, gray areas, and getting this solved, all while showing you how to leverage compliance as your secret weapon to land more defense work with higher profit margins. Now that's what becoming an On-Call compliance hero can do for you. If you're looking for more help getting compliant, our compliance experts are always on call for you. Visit cmmccompliancesecrets.com or check out the description below for links to get help right now. And if you love the content we're putting out here for you, help us out with a big thumbs up on that like button, or even better, smash that subscribe button to get the latest compliance content as soon as our compliance nerds roll it out. Especially if you're getting ready for CMMC right now, smash that subscribe button because we're going to be rolling out the new CMMC controls, and you definitely want to be the first one to get access to them. Great to see you again, and I'll see you on the next one.